Randolph Scott was born George Randolph Scott on January 23, 1898 in Orange County, Virginia, into a large, well-to-do Southern family that valued discipline, education, and integrity. His father, George Grant Scott, worked as a respected textile executive, while his mother, Lucille Crane Scott, brought refinement and gentility to the household. Randolph was the second of 7 children, growing up in a nurturing yet structured environment in Charlotte, North Carolina, where moral uprightness and quiet confidence were instilled early. His early education at private schools, followed by studies at the Georgia Institute of Technology and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, seemed to prepare him for a career in business or engineering. Yet, a combination of fate and personal passion would divert him toward a life in Hollywood, where his strong moral compass, work ethic, and Southern charm would shape not only the roles he played, but also the man he became. Military service and discovery of Hollywood. Following his education, Randolph Scott served with distinction in World War I as an artillery officer in France, an experience that instilled in him a deep sense of duty, resilience, and purpose. Returning home, he found civilian life grounding but unfulfilling, and during a visit to California in the early 1920s, he became captivated by the emerging film industry. With his tall, athletic build, striking features, and natural charisma, he caught the attention of casting directors and began his career modestly as an extra and stuntman. He gradually progressed to small speaking roles, demonstrating perseverance and humility that distinguished him from many of his contemporaries. By the late 1920s, he had found steady work in Hollywood, transitioning seamlessly into talking pictures where his resonant voice and commanding presence began to leave a lasting impression on audiences, setting the stage for the legend he would become. Rise to stardom in the Western genre. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, Randolph Scott's career flourished across various genres, but it was the Western that truly immortalized him. Films such as The Last of the Mohicans, 1936, Western Union, 1941, and The Desperado, 1943, showcased his stoic, honorable, and resilient screen persona. Scott's characters were guided by a strong moral code, reflecting the man he was in real life, principled, dignified, and courageous. Unlike many contemporaries, he remained focused and disciplined, avoiding the excesses of celebrity culture and maintaining a quiet professionalism that earned him respect. His collaboration with director Bud Boutisher in the 1950s resulted in some of the most celebrated westerns ever produced, including 7 Men from Now, 1956, Ride Lonesome, 1959, and Comanche Station, 1960, each revealing a hero grappling with internal conflict, guided by steadfast integrity, and cementing Scott's reputation as the archetypal Western icon of strength, honor, and quiet reflection. Retirement and life beyond Hollywood. Randolph Scott's final film, Ride the High Country, 1962, directed by Sam Peckinpah, presented an aging lawman confronting a changing world, mirroring Scott's own graceful exit from Hollywood. Choosing to retire at the height of his dignity, he invested wisely in real estate and business ventures, achieving financial success while remaining grounded and focused on family and faith. Scott's approach to life after acting reflected the same prudence and integrity that defined his career. His thoughtful withdrawal from the public eye allowed him to nurture personal passions, particularly horses and ranch life, while maintaining a serene and stable home environment. He lived quietly and deliberately, proving that one could achieve great fame without being consumed by it, leaving a legacy not only of iconic films but of personal values and consistent principles that inspired colleagues and fans alike. First marriage and early social life. In 1936, Randolph Scott married Marion DuPont, an accomplished and independent woman whose family was part of the influential American DuPont dynasty. Marion was deeply involved in horse breeding and racing, owning Montpelier, the historic Virginia estate once home to President James Madison, which she transformed into a prestigious equestrian facility. Interestingly, Scott had served as best man at Marion's previous wedding, and their relationship developed gradually, evolving from friendship to romance. Despite the glamour and prestige surrounding their union, the marriage faced challenges stemming from differing priorities. Scott was building his acting career on the West Coast, while Marion was deeply rooted in her social and equestrian pursuits on the East Coast. These geographical and lifestyle separations ultimately led to an amicable divorce in 1939. after 3 years of marriage, leaving no children but a mutual respect that endured for decades, reflected in Marion's continued use of the Scott surname until her death in 1983. Second marriage and family life. Randolph Scott found lasting happiness with his second marriage to Patricia Stillman in 1944, an actress 21 years his junior. Patricia's focus shifted from her brief film career to family life, and the couple created a harmonious and enduring domestic environment. They settled into a serene home that balanced Hollywood life with country retreats, reflecting Scott's lifelong love of horses and the outdoors. In 1950, they adopted 2 children, Sandra and Christopher, further solidifying the warmth and stability of their household. Scott, often seen as a stoic Western hero on screen, was devoted and gentle at home, fostering close bonds with his family. Unlike many celebrity marriages of the era, theirs remained free of scandal, sustained by shared values, love, and mutual respect. This personal stability complemented Scott's professional legacy, providing him with a private refuge of comfort and happiness that mirrored the moral integrity of the characters he portrayed. Friendship and rivalry with Hollywood icons. In Hollywood, Randolph Scott's relationship with fellow Western legend John Wayne was marked by tension rather than camaraderie. While audiences often assumed the two would share mutual respect, Scott privately harbored a lasting dislike for Wayne, rooted in differences of temperament, professional philosophy, and personal values. Scott's performances were measured, deliberate, and introspective, while Wayne embraced a bold, showman-like heroism. Scott believed in subtlety and moral nuance, valuing the integrity of the craft over theatrical spectacle, and he viewed Wayne's approach as more image-focused than principled. Despite this private dislike, Scott never sought public conflict or attacks, maintaining professionalism while quietly expressing his opinions in candid interviews. Their silent feud became part of Hollywood lore, highlighting the contrasting approaches of 2 men who shaped the Western genre in distinct and influential ways. Philosophical and artistic differences. Scott's disapproval of Wayne extended beyond personality conflicts into matters of philosophy and morality. He admired heroes who faced moral dilemmas and reflected on their choices, while he perceived Wayne's portrayals as simplistic and patriotic, emphasizing bravado over introspection. Scott respected restraint, humility, and thoughtful action, believing that true heroism was shown in quiet, consistent integrity rather than loud, ostentatious gestures. Wayne's outspoken nature and conservative views, particularly his approach to politics and war, clashed with Scott's measured and reflective character. Scott once commented on the importance of subtlety in storytelling, emphasizing men who questioned their choices rather than men who acted without reflection. These philosophical contrasts underscored a fundamental divergence in worldview, shaping Scott's private opinions and reinforcing his belief that respect for life's complexities mattered more than Hollywood spectacle. Later years and legacy. Randolph Scott spent his later years enjoying the tranquility of family life and personal pursuits, balancing his time between Beverly Hills and his ranch near Santa Barbara. His passion for horses and the outdoors provided a peaceful counterpoint to his cinematic life, allowing him to maintain the quiet dignity he had carried throughout his career. He passed away in 1987 at the age of 89 due to heart and lung ailments, leaving behind a 43-year marriage with Patricia, who joined him in rest upon her death in 2004. The couple's home and personal collections, including scrapbooks, letters, and photographs, were entrusted to UCLA's Special Collections, preserving a tangible legacy of a life marked by integrity, devotion, and artistic dedication. Scott's influence on the Western genre remains profound, celebrated for his moral depth, measured performances, and the timeless humanity he brought to every role.